Hello and welcome to this episode of Cooking with Kids. Today we're going to make blueberry cheesecake cups. There are 3 different parts to this recipe. There's the blueberry swirl, the graham cracker crust, and the lemon cheesecake filling. And we'll need 3 different bowls for all of those. For the blueberry swirl, we're going to use half a cup of blueberries, half a tablespoon of white sugar, half a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, and half a teaspoon of cornstarch. Then, for the graham cracker crust, we'll use half a cup of graham cracker crumbs, 1.5 tablespoons of white sugar, and 2 tablespoons of margarine or softened butter. For the lemon cheesecake filling, we'll use 8 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/8 of a cup of fresh lemon juice, lemon zest, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 large egg. We're going to need 3 bowls, 1 saucepan, 1 strainer, 1 muffin pan, measuring cups and spoons, and a lemon zester or steak knife. It would also be really helpful if you had an egg beater. To get started, we're going to use our half cup of blueberries. These can be fresh or frozen, but if you're using ones that are frozen, you're going to want to do it over a lower heat so they don't burn on the outside and stay frozen on the inside. So I measured out my half a cup of blueberries and I'm going to wash them. Once they're all clean, I'm going to put them in my pan. And then I have to add some lemon juice, so I'm going to cut open my lemon and just squeeze about half a tablespoon's worth of lemon juice onto my pan. From your large pack of sugar, you're going to measure out half a tablespoon of white sugar. Turn your saucepan on to medium or low and cook your blueberries slowly and squish them. We want to get all the juices out and have them as squished up as possible. In a small bowl, combine half a teaspoon of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of water. Give it a really good mix and then add that to your pan. Once your blueberry mixture has thickened, you're going to strain it into a bowl. So you're going to use a strainer with a very fine mesh, or if you don't have one, you can also use a cloth or a cheesecloth and kind of squeeze all of the juices out. The point is to get just the juices and not the bits of blueberry. However, if you don't have one, I'm sure if you just set aside all of this mixture and add that into our cheesecake later, it will still taste great. If you're using a strainer, use a spoon and mash the mixture into the strainer and then set it aside. The rest should all drip through while you're making the rest of the cheesecake. Now we're going to make the graham cracker crust. First, preheat your oven to 325 degrees. Then we're going to mix together the graham cracker crumbs, 1.5 tablespoons of white sugar. Remember to measure it out because there's all 3 parts need the sugar and it's all in one container. And the 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. Once you've finished combining your ingredients, you're going to line a muffin tin with paper liners. If you have oil or butter, you can also line the sides with that, but I would recommend the paper liners for this one in particular because it's much easier to take out the cheesecake if it's not stuck to the sides. Then you're going to take small amounts of your graham cracker mixture and spoon them into each of your cups. I ended up only having enough cheesecake filling for 10, so I could have just done 10 and divided them up and made them a little bit thicker, but I didn't know that at the time. So I put in 12, and then you just pat them all down with a spoon or with your fingers if you've washed your hands, and pat them all down to make a nice little crust for the bottom. Once your oven is preheated, pop those crusts in the oven for 5 minutes. And now we have the final part, the cheesecake filling. So for this, we're going to use 1 package of cream cheese. Try to soften it to room temperature before using it. It will make mixing up a lot easier. Use an egg beater to mix up your cream cheese and the rest of your sugar. You can also use 2 knives and spoons to first cut it and then mix it up. There's lots of different ways you can do it, but the egg beater is one of the easier ways. When your timer goes off for the graham cracker crust, just take them out and set them aside. Once the sugar and cream cheese is really well blended, you can start adding the other ingredients. I just squeezed the lemon by hand, and that gave me a good amount of lemon juice. I just had to really be careful not to leave any of the seeds behind because a lot of them were coming out. To zest the lemon, I used this purple zester. It is just like a cheese grater but with smaller holes. That's what you use to get the zest or the peel off of the lemon. Otherwise, you can also try using a steak knife because it has the points on it or the serrated edge, and you just use that against your lemon and trying to get those little bits of peel into the mixture. Once the lemon and zest has been well mixed into the cheesecake, you can add the egg and the vanilla. And mix it up again until it's all smooth. Now you're all done combining the ingredients. It's time to put these 3 parts together. So with a ladle or a big spoon, scoop bits of your cheesecake mixture into each of the holes, trying to make it even so there's enough for all of them. Now you take your blueberries that you cooked earlier, they should be nice and thick, and spoon little bits of that mixture onto each of your cheesecake cupcakes. And now with a toothpick or a knife, swirl around the blueberries, making little patterns in the cheesecake. And there you go. Now they're ready for the oven. Cook them for 20 minutes at 325 degrees. Then you're going to let them cool for an hour and then put them in the fridge for 3 to 4 hours or even overnight. Then unwrap and enjoy! I hope you liked this episode of Cooking with Kids. Here's the directions for next time. See you soon. Bye now.